Morning. Have you ever been afraid of something? I know what I'm afraid of. Two grown men in M&M costumes. That was frightening. But what I want to talk about today is fear. I know as you can tell, we've done a lot in our songs and stuff today to kind of point us, what fear are we dealing with? How does that look? You know, if you've ever been afraid to the point that it just made you sick to your stomach? Yes? Yes, I have. And I'm going to tell you about that moment for me. A few years ago, me and my wife Brenda, we had bought a house and we moved in. And I don't know how long we've been there. It's me and Brenda. And this is when Cassidy, my oldest daughter, she was about 5 or 6 years old. And I remember we put her to bed that night and just watched some TV, just sitting back watching TV. And I love to watch, like, celebrity ghost stories. Y'all know what that is? Or ghost hunters. I'm revealing something about myself. It's not good. But I don't really, I'm interested in it because I think it's fascinating, okay? Brenda now, my wife, she's like, you shouldn't be watching that. That's bad for you. I say, you're right. I should not be watching that. So when she goes to bed, I stay up late. And I watch ghost hunters. And it just, whatever, it's fascinating to me. But what it does, it kind of makes me a little paranoid, but that's okay. So this particular night, I go to bed and I'm laying there. And you get that feeling when somebody's watching you. I'm just laying there and I'm like, what's going on? Somebody's in this room. And I just opened my eyes a little bit. You didn't see anything. You see the shadows of the door and, it's just me. I'm just being paranoid. Well, I closed my eyes again. I got that feeling again. Somebody is in this room. You know what I'm talking about? You just start getting, you start losing it a little bit. And I opened my eyes, and this figure was standing over me. I'm not kidding you. Just standing there. A silhouette of this figure. And I'm thinking, oh no, all the movies I've watched is coming back to haunt me right now. I knew I shouldn't have done it. God, I'm sorry. I'll never watch it again. And I'm just like in fear thinking, is this real? What is this? What is this in front of me? And then I heard this voice. In the midst of that fear, I heard this voice. And it said this. It said, hey, Daddy. Amen, brother. Cassidy was standing over our bed. Hey, Daddy. And I'm like, stop. Go away. What are you doing? This is not fun. Go to bed now. And I was thinking, that fear can just take over. It can just get in our soul. It can just... we can't control it. We just freeze. And so I wrote down a list of things I thought that you might be afraid of, some things I'm afraid of, but I just see if you can relate to some of these. Snakes. Is anybody afraid of snakes? We got a basket back there for you. I'm kidding. The dark. Anybody afraid of the dark? Oh, and you men out there, I saw some early service raising their hand. They got a little night light in their room. Yeah, okay. Heights, Ferris wheels. I'm not crazy about Ferris wheels. I ride them with Brenda, and she likes to shake it. And I'm like, stop it. And she's laughing. Anyway, I asked my oldest, Cassie, I said, what are you afraid of? Just sitting at the dinner table the other night. I said, what are you afraid of? She said, being embarrassed. I said, oh, okay. I was expecting something else. That's a big deal, being embarrassed. And then I asked Lily, my little Lily over here, she's 6, sorry, got that. Her birthday's this week, she's got her hat on. She said, spiders. I'm like, I'm afraid of spiders. Who's afraid of spiders? Wow, man, let's start throw a bunch out there. See y'all run. But what had happened was funny. I'll share this quick story with you about spiders for me. I'm sitting in the chair. Seems like I'm always sitting in the chair watching TV. And I hear this, ah! And there's Brenda in the other room. I'm like, what is going on? Why is she screaming? I thought something had happened. And she says, there's a spider in the sink. I'm like, okay. What you want me to do about it? She says, never mind. And so she takes her slipper out and kills it. That's usually what she does. She takes her slipper off and kills the spider because I'm not man enough to do it. But we're all afraid of something, right? Can we admit that this morning? Come on. Admit it. Admit it. Come on, guy. You're afraid of something. You are afraid of something this morning. And what we want to talk about is what is that fear that you lay awake at night thinking about? What is that thing that just won't go away? You know, fear for us, it's easy sometimes to say we're afraid of, heights or whatever. But, the fear of life, like I'll tell you something that I know that's been a big fear in my life is, can we pay the bills? That's hard. God, you say you're God, so help me out here. Is this relationship or is this marriage? I'm afraid, God, or what are you going to do? It's crumbling. Can you help me? What is it that keeps you awake? Because something does. Something drives us crazy constantly. And I want to share with you what I think in the Bible, if we look at the Bible, there's 365 times it says, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Hey, get it? Do not be, say it. Okay. Got it, God. We will not be afraid. But what we're going to look at is how he's trying to teach the disciples this lesson. How to trust him. So Matthew, I'm going to read it. Hopefully on the screen there. Matthew 8:24 through 27. Then he got into his boat, and his disciples followed him. Suddenly, a furious storm came up on the lake, so that the waves swept over the boat, but Jesus was sleeping. Isn't that just like our life? Jesus, here comes the waves, and you're nowhere around. You're just sleeping. I keep thinking that Jesus is probably not asleep. He's just kind of faking it. He's kind of like, let's just see what they do. Yeah, because I got this. I got this. But when that sudden thing comes in your life, and usually sudden things happen to us. We're moving along in life, and it's just really great, and all of a sudden, life changes. The waves come over. We look like this is the end. And we say, God, wake up. I'm going to tell you, a sudden thing happened to me a few years ago. I used to be a pastor of media at another church, and we did television, and it was my responsibility to make sure that things worked, and we would run cable through the worship center, and our worship center was about this high. It's about 30 feet. And a good friend of mine, Gary, we were up in the ceiling, and we were running cable from one end to the other. And as we were doing that, I heard something crash. And I looked down, and all I seen was these hands hanging to the rafters. And Gary had fell through the roof and was hanging. Imagine him hanging right there, hanging 30 feet in the air like this. Bryan! I run over there. I bend down, and I grab him by the arm, and I grab him by the other arm. I'm grabbing his hair. He's about 170 pounds. And I'm looking at the floor, 30 feet down. and there's a pulpit there and a pews. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way I can do this. This is beyond my ability. And I said, Gary, all I can do is I can throw you, and maybe you'll miss the platform. And I took him like this. I threw him. He rolled 30 feet now, if you can imagine that. Broke his arm and fractured his eye socket. But today, he's doing well, still serving and volunteering in church. I think that's amazing. But at that time, that sudden thing that happened to me, I said, God, I have no ability to do it. And I look at this story, and I think that's where the disciples were. They were in that place in their life where we're all going to be one day. It's not like it's not going to happen. We're all going to find ourselves in that place, in the boat, with waves crashing, thinking, God, where are you? And Jesus is doing this right here. This is the next verse. This is what he does. It's like Jesus said, well, let me show you. Let me just teach y'all something here about who I am. Okay? You look at things differently than I do. And this is so cool. Sorry, I have to bend the phone down all the way to see this. He replied, Ye, I used to saying ye, but you of little faith, why are you so afraid? Why are you so afraid? Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. The men were amazed. What kind of man is this? Even the winds and the waves obey him. Jesus was teaching them that you have to have faith bigger than your fear. Did you hear what I said? You have to have faith bigger than your fear. Whatever it is you're dealing with today, whatever fear, whatever circumstance that suddenly came upon you, Jesus is teaching us here today in his word. He's saying, listen, I got it. I can handle the waves that come in your life. I can handle the wind. What you got to do is you got to trust me. You got to believe. And if you get anything else today at all out of what I say, please get the fact that your faith, if it's bigger than your fear, and you trust God, he can make anything possible. Little illustration for you. I think you're wondering what the cage is all about. Eddie wants to say we could put our children in it. I don't know about that. But I thought this would be a great little illustration for you. And you see, fear is like this cage. It establishes the limits of your life. Did you hear that? Fear establishes the limits of your life. I can go nowhere because of fear. And some of us, we just choose to stay here. We just choose to say, I'd rather, let me get this out here. I'd rather just sit in my little box of fear, and this is where I'm going to be. Close the gate. Stay right there. But Jesus is saying there's more to life than this. You see, we stand, we're usually maybe afraid of heights, we stay low. We may be afraid of people, we stay at home. We may be afraid of changing jobs, so we don't. We live in the bounds of fear, but, we're always out here going, I wish I could be that. I wish I could do that, God. Why can't my life be like that? Why does my marriage got to look like that? Why does my finances? Why can't it look like that? I want that guy's job over there. That's a good job. I want that car right there, God. I want that car. But we sit back and we just stay where we are. And what I want you to understand that Jesus says, if you'll trust me, there's freedom on the other side of this fence. There's freedom right here for you to live a life that you can't imagine. I'll get out now. But this fence reminds me of when I used to go watch planes at downtown airport. See, I love to fly planes. It was my thing. I wanted to do that. A little afraid of it, but I said, you know, God, I'm just going to give it a try. So I went and started taking lessons and, down at the Pickens Airport. And I got a couple of pilots in here, I know. I don't know if they're still in here, but, it's a fun thing to do. And I started taking lessons, and getting close to my solo. That's the big deal. If you can fly the plane by yourself, then you've done it, okay? And right before I did that, my instructor, Mickey, he said, Bryan, I want to teach you something, okay? I want to teach you something that you might need to know. I said, sure, it's no big deal, He said, I'm going to teach you how to do spins. I said, no. That's not what I want to hear. I said, I would rather just stay level, and that'd be great. He said, but one day you may need to know this. One day you may need to understand what it's like. So he took me out. He said, all right, we're going to do this about 3,000 feet. And a Cessna 150 for all you pilots. It's a little plane. And I'm thinking, I don't want to do this. I'm just afraid. I'm nervous. God, I don't want to do this. And he said, here we go. So he took the plane, took it straight up like this. Straight up. And that's fun. You ever done that? Straight up. And he hit the rudder on the back, this little rudder, and the plane went like this. And then it went like this. And I'm just screaming. Stop! I'm just like, and I'm not lying. My legs were doing this. My hands were doing this. I look like Elvis, man. I was like, whoo! I'm so afraid. Don't do that. I'm glad that's over. Sorry if that's me. I'm glad that's over. And he said, well, now it's your turn. Okay, what? He said, you're going to do it now. You're going to do this now because you can. You can do this. Trust me. Trust me. So we go up. I pull back, and then we go straight up. And that feeling's horrible, by the way, of you back to the ground. And I was thinking, oh, Lord. And I hit the rudder, and we come down. And just terror. If you could see my face, I bet it was just like, and I'm pulling back on the yoke, and it pulls it up. And I'm like, man. Whoa, let's do that again. I was like, I can do this. I can do this. You see where I'm going? You see, Jesus is saying, you trust me? You get out from behind that fence of fear, move on this side, and you'll be amazed at what I can do in your life. We need to stop living in that wall. There's a lot of reasons why. Not only for you, but for the rest of the world that needs to see the faith we have. Needs to see our faith is bigger than our needs. That, man, those guys, they don't have any money, but they're happy. That they believe it's something greater than themselves. And I think Jesus brought that to us today. He's saying just a little example of me loving you and trusting you. Here's what I want to do today. I want you to stand up with me. And we're going to do this together. We're going to let you give something back, give something away that has been terrorizing you. And I want you to think of something. If you want to close your eyes, I want you to think of that something that you need to trust God with that just terrifies you. You know what it is. It may be financial. It may be your family. And you're like, I can't do this, God. There's no other way than to give it to you. We're going to give our fear away today. I want you to open your hands up like this in front of you. You can see me. I want you to take that thing, that fear, and I want you to just visually place it in your hands. Now I want you to make a fist. I want you to just say, God, with everything I have, I'm holding on to this right now. But in a moment, I'm going to give it back. You know, I know this may be uncomfortable for some of you. That's okay. But I'm telling you, wherever you are in this building, whatever it is you're dealing with, God wants you to trust Him with it. Whatever way you do that this morning. But I want to read something to you. While you're holding your fist, before we give it away, I want to read this to you. It's Romans 8:38. He says, trust me. And I'm going to show you why you need to trust. I want to show you what he says. He says, for I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor the powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. He's telling you right now, you can trust me with this. Nothing's going to separate you from my love. I promise you, trust me with this. So what we're going to do is you hold that. I'm going to count down from 3. And when I get to 1, we're going to let it go. And then we're going to sing with Spencer. Okay? You guys ready? Remember, we're giving this away. We're giving it back. God, we're trusting you with this. 3. I encourage you, give it to him this morning. 2. Let's give it to him right now, okay? 1, let it go. Let him have it, whatever it is you're dealing with this morning. It's his today. Let's sing with Spencer.
'Cause I am a child of God, no longer slave. 'Cause I'm no longer a slave to fear. 'Cause I am a child of God, no longer. I'm no longer a slave to fear. And I am a child of God, 'cause I'm no longer a slave to fear. 'Cause I am a child of God.
If you're holding on to it this morning, I encourage you to let it go today. Say, God, see, some of you in here today, you still don't want to hear it. You still don't want to get out of the cage. I'm not doing it. You can't make me do it. I like my life, my world. Please, just stop talking, Bryan. But I'm telling you, the love of God is saying, I'm waiting right here for you. If you would just listen to what I'm saying. You're no longer slaves to fear. No longer. In this next verse we sing, I pray that you would give it to him today. I pray that you would.
Yeah, I am a child of God, no longer slave, 'cause I'm no longer a slave to fear. 'Cause I am a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears were drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and sing. I am a child of God. Let's sing that. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears were drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and sing. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. One more time. I am a child of God. We sing that chorus one more time together. We're no longer slaves, 'cause I'm no longer a slave to fear. Yeah, I am a child of God. Lift your voice to him. Yeah, I'm no longer a slave to fear. And I am a child of God. Thank you guys so much for being here with us this morning. Remember, we're no longer slaves to fear. You guys are dismissed. Have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday at Fall Festival.